We get the topic at hand. I think we'll start off like we normally do with some questions, and hopefully maybe that's Sandy showing up. There should be at least Sandy showing up today as well. So do we have any questions to start off today?
Got a 6?
What?
Did Liz get a...
No, she got some kind of Android phone. So,
that there, I thought that's where it's blowing.
and I'm not even sure what brand it
I'll just dribble my way down one more here.
looked like. I think it was an LG, but I'm not sure. So, but anyway, yeah, she showed me on Saturday at the bazaar.
Did you get my email message?
I did. Yeah, and that was part of, I had not seen that specifically, but I do know that there are some things that you don't want to buy on Black Friday.
But basically what she said is, that study says that it's 17 to 18% cheaper on that Monday of Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, Cyber Monday.
No, not Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday is the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
This is the Monday before Thanksgiving. Is when Adobe says their study show is the best time to buy electronics online. Because it's 18%. Of course, it depends on what you buy.
Yeah, there's a lot, and I'm sure that these research places have done their research, but I think there's a lot more factors to consider. Or there are a lot of factors, whether they've considered them or not. Because that article that you sent me, I didn't read the whole thing, but I browsed through the whole article to get a gist of it. And one of the things it said is that clothing is cheapest on December 23rd.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I am not going shopping on December 23rd.
Well, they say there's not much. Your selection may not be very
and
and then
someone who wears
the later you wait through your selection.
Yeah. So is it worth to, you're still saving money on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Is it worth it to technically pay a little more and have that gift since the end of November, or is it more worth it to wait until December 23rd and pray that you can get because like for me, and I know I wouldn't be shopping for myself, but for me, I wear the most common men's shoes size. I wear a 9.5. I have, I wear size large t-shirt. I wear, everything that I wear clothing wise, which is the hugest deal, is always what is the most popular. And so, yeah, it would be gone. It would be completely gone. So maybe deals may be better the longer you wait, but you're also taking you're taking a risk. So same thing with Black Friday. If you don't wait around at 1 a.m. and when the store opens at 2 a.m., you won't get quite the same deals as coming in at 10 a.m. that day. So, do we have questions before we do pop into Black Friday stuff? You're not sure you want to raise your hand?
Yeah, right.
Pop.
I'm in the process of buying a house.
Yes.
I don't know if this is, I think this is the right place. And I have to do some rewiring.
Okay.
And it's got 2 bedrooms here and 1 bedroom here.
Yep. Of course.
Anyways, got bedrooms 2 and 1 here, which I want to make available for computer.
Okay.
And I had my friend, we were out there yesterday looking at it, and he says I can just bring the computer system service into the house, and I can wirelessly make it go to everywhere else with something else.
With a wireless router. Yeah. You need to it may be hooked up for wireless or for high-speed internet, but you would need to call your current internet service provider to find out if they provide service at the new house.
Well, it's got Cablevision, and then it's got 2 satellite dish. One is dish, and the other one is not dish, but the other one.
Right.
It's all there. All the wiring, like, everything is there. And I'm not sure which direction to go, but I thought, well, I better start now because I have to do some inside renovations.
Right.
So if I need to wire stuff,
Right.
I need to like look now.
Well, if you're considering hardwiring the house for internet, and one thing to consider is hardwire is always faster than wireless. So that's one thing to consider. So if there's a place where you know you're absolutely in your building or renovating or whatever the house, then one thing to consider is if I know my computer is going to be here, you know, especially like a desktop, it's going to be here and I know it's going to be here and it's not going to move, then it doesn't hurt to put in a Ethernet cord out of that, you know, the plug right next door to it.
Okay, my place, when I had the people up for the dish, and I wanted for computer, and they said, well, this wiring here, and that he could, because a lot of what they did is they just push it up through the floor and it's just like picked out like this. He says they don't use that anymore anyways. He says none of this wiring is any good for computer systems now because it's
so old.
Wrong with it.
Well, it's old, and you know, even right now with Comcast and Time Warner and Hood Canal Communications and whoever else we have, the majority of them are still using old cable wire.
That black stuff.
Yeah, like regular thing that you'd plug an old TV into, cable wire.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you, coaxial cable. And the PUD has apparently laid fiber optics throughout almost the entire, at least city major, if not also through, you know, the outlying areas, and almost none of them are using it. Probably because there's a fee. I'm sure there's a fee associated with it because PUD owns it, so they'd have to rent it from the PUD. But so we have faster internet in town available to us, but the cable companies are not taking advantage of it.
What about this new communications company?
Yeah, they are.
They're fiber optics.
They are fiber optics. Yeah.
I don't know much about them.
I know nothing about them, but they probably saw that there was fiber optics and that no one was using it, and so they said, hey, we can come in, offer great deals, offer amazing speeds. And
PUD is going to have to replace our underground power wire. When they're going to do it next March, and when they do it, they're going to use a conduit for their power line, but they're also going to lay a fiber optics down our road. So at least our subdivision will have fiber optics.
Whether or not they, whether or not they choose to use it. Yeah. So
then where do I, so I take the black wire out and I put in, I don't even know what the other wire looks like.
I am not that technical.
Well, fiber optics is
No, I know, but I don't know what the cable it is that it even looks like. Where I'm buying is out past PUD 3 building on Johns Perry.
Yep.
Out not very far past that. And then over to the left. So I don't like over towards the west, I guess northwest. And it's all old. Everything there isn't near to new. I don't know what's in the ground.
Yeah, I think your first step is to find out who you want to go with. Because if you go with Dish, they may have a certain wire. And if you go with this new company, obviously they will have fiber optics. And so you need to decide who you're going to go with because that'll determine everything else.
Yeah, because I'm looking Cablevision or Dish.
Yep.
And then I wanted the internet, which the way I gather it is you have a cable and you get this, everything comes on that Cablevision.
Right, yeah. You get the bundle, you get phone, internet, TV. Yeah, that's how most companies are. Or they partner with someone, like Dish partners with AT&T or Verizon or somebody to offer to provide you with TV or internet. So one way or another, they try to bundle so that you get all three and then you get discounted for it. Yeah. So yeah, I would call and find out the deals they'll offer, the prices, the speeds, all that. And then if you want to lay the wiring yourself, then find out from them what wiring they use. And beyond that, it's beyond me. I'm not that technical, and I don't do wiring, and so
Well,
that would be my best advice for that.
Because like I say, I got to do 3 or 4 walls in like internal,
Mm-hmm.
and so if they're going to be open,
Right.
then
Yep. It's better to do it now than
well, I
after
don't
the
want to
fact.
ruin it later.
Yep. Exactly.
Because I'm putting wood up, I'm actually going to go naughty pine on all the internal walls.
You know what you could do, Richard, also, is you can buy plastic conduit. Go up in your attic and just run a plastic conduit down to probably where you think your computer's. And then you can always pull the wire out and run another one down. Just so your wiring's up in your attic. If you have an attic that you get into.
No.
You can get
I don't know. I've been in the house 3 times and it's been 100 miles an hour just trying to figure out.
Or if you get underneath, you do the same thing.
Yeah.
If you have a conduit, just like, my entertainment center, I have a conduit. So I can pull the wires in. But we can talk later.
So
Well, I do.
not exactly a main topic, but I just saw this on news today. Biologists could soon resurrect extinct species, but should they? So the white rhinos, there's 4 left, and they're not mating. and the big boy is apparently just a few months or so off of his 43rd birthday, which means he'll no longer be eligible to mate.
Yeah, but don't they already, because they're talking about gene splicing out of this, is that what?
They are. They're talking about using the skin of the rhinos to produce the DNA, which they would then create eggs and sperm.
Yeah.
And then petri dish these guys.
But don't they already do that? Is that not already done? I mean, not necessarily with the rhinos, but is that not?
They're
already
working
done?
there's a lot of different groups are working in different species. So I don't know if they've done it specifically. There was Dolly so many
Sheep,
years ago, the
Yeah.
sheep. So there's lots of different companies, and they're working with different types of animals. But this is from Scripps in San Diego, which wasn't too far from where I lived. And in fact, Scripps is where I used to get my salt water for my fish tanks down in California. You get free salt water from them. Not a bad deal. So anyway, I just thought that this was really interesting. Because it is asking the question, anytime I see this stuff, I always think back to the original Jurassic Park movie. And I think his name was Ian.
Yeah.
He said, they were so busy with whether or not they could, they never stopped to think if they should. Yeah. And I always remember that line. That line has always stuck with me. And I like that they asked that question. And there's some people, obviously there's people on both sides of the argument. Some people say, yes, we should. We are the ones that have poached these animals for their horns. We should resurrect them. And other people say, no, even though it's not necessarily the natural course of these animals, it's still their time. And we shouldn't be messing with genetics and different things like that. And but then it gets harder with species like the dodo bird. No one did anything. The dodo bird just became extinct because of, I don't think it was anything to do with man. I think it was purely Darwinism.
Well, didn't they also get slaughtered pretty hard at their time at the end also? I think there was one left somewhere. That was a reference to the dodo bird, wasn't that? I think if I remember rightly on that.
Not entirely sure, and I don't think they talk about in there, but I just, there are species that have passed on, and it's had nothing to do with us. And so is it our right to resurrect those species as well? And what kind of, you have to consider the impact that they will have on today's world now that they've been gone for so long. So there's lots of interesting, but it's just, technology-wise, we are in a stage where we could start reintroducing these new species, and I just think it's interesting. It is. It's pretty incredible.
But they do that with plants too. Am I not? I mean, we're talking animals.
Ants do
but
similar.
We're doing plants.
Yep.
We're resurrecting back.
Yep, they can do that, and it's all. it's very interesting how science and television, kind of piggyback on each other. A lot of the things we see on TV are a result of science, and a lot of things that science has striven for has been because of television. People have tried to reproduce lightsabers, and they're actually getting close to being able to do things like that. And lasers, lasers were around well before we actually invented lasers. So it's just interesting how science and science fiction or fiction have kind of pushed each other to new boundaries. So we'll see where this goes, and there's the ethics behind it, and I'm glad that those questions are being asked now rather than later. So, all right. So today we're going to talk about, because I think it's just helpful to bring this up each year. Everyone's getting ready to start shopping. My sister-in-law always sends our Christmas lists out in July, and I don't start shopping then, but she always sends it out early, which is great. And but Black Friday is coming up, and so is Cyber Monday. So Black Friday is, I think everyone knows, is the Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, starting as early as 11 or midnight. That actually Thanksgiving/Friday day. Then going all through the weekend, and then Cyber Monday are online-only deals through retailers like Amazon, and even some of these, Target and Walmart, and these companies will have Cyber Monday deals as well as their traditional in-store ones that are also box stores will have in-store deals as well. So there's a whole bunch of websites. There's blackfriday.com, bfads.net, blackfridayads.net, theblackfriday.com are three of the ones that I found. And, if there is something specific that you're looking for, you can just search these websites right here and see if there's anything. They pull all the ads together, from Target and Walmart and Amazon, Kohl's, Sears, Macy's. You see them all here. Best Buy.
Do they price compare items?
I don't know if they price compare specifically, but if you look for a specific item, so I've been seeing a lot of things for that Xbox One. So it doesn't necessarily price compare, but it lists out everywhere where there's an Xbox One deal, so you can price compare yourself. It doesn't actually say, here are the retailers, here are the prices, here's what it comes with. So you can do a little price comparison yourself. $2.99, $2.99, $2.99, $3.49, and these all also depend on, obviously, do they come with an extra game, do they come with an extra controller, etc. So that'll affect the price for this item specifically. But that way you can search, and you don't have to go to every single website's Black Friday ads on your own. You don't have to go to Target. You don't have to go to Kohl's. You don't have to go to JCPenney or whatever you're interested in. You don't have to go and search those individually. These bring all the ads together. They do all the research for you, basically. You just have to, and you can just click on stuff, and you can click on topics as well, or stores, and click on Amazon. And now you can just start looking at every single Amazon deal that has been advertised so far.
Cyber Monday is the Monday after Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah. So, Black Friday, they've extended throughout the whole weekend. Just the deals they're not as good as the weekend goes. I mean, heck, you can go shopping at 1 p.m. on Black Friday, and deals aren't nearly as good as they were at 6 a.m. So they just continually get you know, there's still deals, but they gradually get worse as the weekend goes. But then Cyber Monday hits, and it kind of starts all over again. But
Does it have a similar site?
Yeah, there. Thank you for saying that. There is. Here you go, right here on it. As a tab, you can click on this one and go to Cyber Monday deals.
So it's at .com?
It's part of BlackFriday.com.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. As soon as sales begin. So it doesn't have anything listed right now.
So,
And you can search for less specific things. Like right here, it says like HD TV. So if you're not looking for the Samsung 50-inch 2015 model, but you're looking for just an HD TV, then you can just type in something generic like that. And now it'll show you all different shapes and sizes and price ranges from different stores.
okay, I'm on BlackFriday.com right now.
Yep.
That's what I have. That's different than what you have.
Well, you did a Google search for it. Now you got to click on that top link, I think, is probably the actual website.
Which over here in the corner?
Nope, right in the center of the page.
Oh, here?
Yep. So if you're, and it's really helpful if you're looking for something specific.
Can I ask you a question real quick
Yep.
before I do anything on this iPad? Just-
Yep.
I've never gotten this message before.
No, okay. It's just letting you know that it's not been backed up in a while.
Okay.
Basically, for your iPad to sync to the cloud,
Mhm.
you have to plug it in and let it charge overnight. And while it's plugged in and charging overnight, then it'll sync up to the cloud.
Oh, okay, I just.
And
okay.
that's probably hadn't happened in the past before because you weren't syncing it to the cloud in the past. Whereas we changed that when you got the new phone so that they would
True.
talk to each other.
Okay.
So that's probably why you haven't had that message.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, of course.
Makes sense.
Mine's like 38 days from being,
Since its last backup.
see, I plug it in, but it never backs itself up because it's always shut off.
Yeah, if you shut it off, then it's not going to back up.
No, I mean, if I just close it, it's shut off.
No, it's not shut off. It's sleeping. If you just lock the screen, then it's just asleep. It's not actually shut down.
Oh,
Unless you,
I just shut it.
yeah, that doesn't shut it down. That just puts it to sleep. Shutting your iPad down involves physically holding down this power button for a couple of seconds until you get this screen, and then you slide it off to turn the power off. So, yeah. So an iPad is never truly off unless you, of course, I guess you could say that for a computer too. Computers just go to sleep also. If you close the lid to a laptop, usually the setting is to go to sleep.
Eventually it'll run down the battery.
Yes, eventually it runs down the battery.
Unless you charge.
Yeah. Yep, unless it's plugged in. Yep.
it.
Desktops usually go to sleep, and you can adjust the settings for how soon you want it to go to sleep. There's all kinds of power saving features. You can have the monitor turn off, and that's it after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. You can have the hard drives go to sleep so that they're not spinning and doing things. There's all kinds of different options that you can do to change that.
Okay, I'm looking because this is not working. It doesn't do my computer well. I think I'm going to go back to a regular computer
Mm-hmm.
or a tablet or whatever they're called.
Laptop. Yep, you've got laptop, desktop, tablet, smartphone.
Which way is a better way of going? Tablet, then a desk, then a laptop?
Well, that's a tablet. That is a tablet. What you have right now
Yeah,
is a tablet.
yeah, but this thing doesn't let me do all, I can't, like I'm fighting with my printer, which I'll try
Right.
today.
So if you're not
Sure.
satisfied with that, then the next step up would be a laptop.
So not a tablet.
So it's
but
still
another
portable. Well, you could get a tablet by another. You could try an Android tablet. I'm not sure. I don't have one, so I'm not versed in them. And I think everyone in this room has iPads.
I have-
Oh, you do have the. That's right. You've got your. Is it a?
It's a, Verizon or a Verizon
Galaxy.
tablet,
Galaxy.
Galaxy.
Okay. Does it talk automatically to printers, or do you have to download an app also?
You can,
Never done.
I've never printed from, I could use it for reading another.
Right. Right.
But one thing I've noticed, and I've often wondered, now that people come out with these new computers, what do they do with all the other ones that are in this system? Well, right now you can buy some pretty inexpensive Service Pro 3s,
Mm-hmm.
because they're just getting rid of them.
A generation old.
And the same with other laptops as they upgrade to a new series. So depending on what your needs are, you can probably do a pretty good deal by
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if
not wanting the newest and the best, if you're just using it for calculating or
right,
reading.
and if you're,
If you're not gaming or that kind of thing, well, maybe you don't need the high speed.
Well, I use mine like for business, like I gotta go to Spokane because equipment, so I run my business equipment buying through this thing, which it works fine. Unless I need to print and I can't. And then I have to email what I want to somebody that has a printer. They open it up, they print it, give it to me, which is,
Well, the other thing that you can do, you could, in the back of your car, you could have this little laser printer that's wireless, and you can.
I have one of those too, and it does not hook up to here. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 printers, and I'm just, I'll try the app that way. So here we are on laptops. Is there better, worse, and different? This is true.
yeah. So I was just gonna say you can search for Black Friday and see if there are any laptop deals that are interesting to you. You know, one option. If you're looking for portability, there are laptops like this one right here. Is a laptop that attaches to, or it's a laptop that can detach the keyboard part and turn into a tablet. So that would satisfy both portability and being a laptop. So there's those kinds. These are called 2-in-1s. There's also ones that are called, oh my goodness, what are they called?
I just
No.
want one that works like a computer.
Well, this would work. If you want one that works like a computer, I would suggest getting one with Windows 10 on it.
This kind of idea, what they're showing here. This is
Uh,
Walmart. This is Walmart.
Right. Well, it just there's different options that you can do. You can get a traditional laptop, which would be, on the hinge, traditional laptop. You can get one that is a laptop that disengages from the keyboard like this one and becomes a full tablet. Then there's one that you can get that literally, because this only hinges this far, you can get ones that are Windows that completely fold 180 degrees. And so the keyboard's still attached, but when you do that, it becomes a tablet. And so you can hold it like a tablet. So it can be either or. So it depends on what you're, like this one has 500 gig hard drive, which is infinitely larger than any iPad. It's got 4 gigs of memory. It's satin golden color, which doesn't really matter. But it's going to have Windows 8, which has a free upgrade to Windows 10, which will talk to any wireless printer. Windows is great about doing that. So it'll act like both a tablet and a laptop. So if you want that portability, but you also want that ability to type on a physical keyboard and have that sense that it's a traditional, more traditional, then I would go with a laptop. If you want something large that stays at home, then get a desktop. But desktops are basically bound to your home, unless you bring them in for an upgrade. Then you can bring them in, but they're not portable. They're not meant to be portable, and that's why they came out with laptops. So, so yeah, if you're unhappy with the iPad, and Apple is very serious about their privacy and people's privacy, and so their system is very contained, which can cause issues like not talking to every single wireless printer that's on the market. And those are kind of some of the, I guess, drawbacks you could say of having a tablet. But I think most tablets are like that. I don't think it's necessarily an Apple problem, but it might be. But yeah, if you're in the market, Cyber Monday would probably be a better option than Black Friday, simply because it's geared towards technology deals. But there's also been, the thing you have to do, and I think we've talked about this last year, is you do have to do your own research and make sure you really are getting a deal. Because some of these deals may not be any better than a normal sale throughout the year. And so you really need to look to see. And the nice thing about this is these websites like blackfriday.com and bfads.com and theblackfriday.com, is you'll be able to shop comparatively and see who really has the best deal for an HD TV or a laptop or whatever it is you're looking for, instead of going physically to the store and, I only have so much time and it's here and it's this price, and so I'll just get it. This helps you kind of escape from that mentality of the convenience of things. So, and there's apps too. So you can go to the App Store. Yep. BlackFridayShopping.com. BFAds.net, that same one that we have right here, has its own app available for you to use.
And it says something like 32 gigabytes internal storage. Is that your hard drive?
Yep.
Well, that's pretty small.
Yeah, the iPads, I don't know about the newest generation, but 64 gigs used to be the largest hard drive. And it's because they're meant for extreme portability. They're not meant to necessarily replace your laptop or your desktop computer. Whenever I go on a trip, I won't take my laptop, and obviously you don't take your desktop on a trip, but I take my iPad, and it's great. It's light, it's portable. I usually never need to print things while I'm on my on trips, but I do have Word on here, and so if I do need to create a document or anything like that, I can do that. I can attach it and email it out to people if an emergency arises at work. I can read books on here. I can check the weather. I can check traffic. I can get directions. I can find local restaurants. I can play games. You can watch Netflix, keep up to date on Facebook and Twitter. I can watch movies, listen to music. I mean, all kinds of stuff. If I wanted to, I could accept payments on my iPad. Study the Bible. Check flights. I mean, go to YouTube. All kinds of stuff. So there are great things about it, but it does have its limitation, and storage is definitely one of them. So, yep. So if you're looking for something that will just work and you don't have to worry about downloading extra software or apps or things like that, then a Windows laptop would probably be the best place to go, or to get a 2-in-1, which can convert or detach and become a tablet as well. And those are getting better. They're getting a lot better than they used to. Their hard drives used to be really small also, but they're getting much larger now. So there's lots of options out there. But yeah, if you look over, if we pop this guy in here. Sorry for people at home, you have to stare at me for now. But if we get this to work, hopefully, maybe not. It says you're working. There we go. All right, so yeah, you just go to the App Store, and so there's Black Friday shopping, the bfads.net, which correlates directly with the one that I was showing you on the laptop. TGI Black Friday by Brad's Deals. Brad's Deals is one that Mark is just a normal deal shopping website that Mark has talked about in the past that he likes, and so they've got their own Black Friday ad. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. I mean, there's tons.
Yeah.
Looks like there's 9 or 10 of them on there, and so you can download those, and then you've got them on your portable device. And if you go shopping on Black Friday in the stores, then you can have the app on your phone or your tablet and bring it with you wherever you go.
If you were looking at an Acer Diamond Black 15.6 Aspire ES1-512-C96S laptop PC that says Intel Celeron N2840 dual-core processor, 2.16 gigahertz, 4 gigs
of RAM.
of RAM, expandable to 8, which is just that card in the back, right?
No, that means it's configurable. So before you buy it, they would insert another 4 gigs of RAM for you. Either that, or it means that they're selling you 4, but at some point you can pop it open and stick in another 4.
Which would be better, right?
More's usually better, yeah. Yeah, 8 is pretty standard for today. 16 is top notch. 32 is overkill for most everybody.
And then 500 gigabytes of
500 gig hard drive.
8C Super Multi DVD double layer burner.
It's your DVD drive.
And then 10/100/1000 base.
Ethernet.
Yeah.
That's your Ethernet port.
802 dot.
That's your wireless. 802.1 or
Okay.
something. BGNAC, something like that. Yep.
Probably seems to. Is that what I should look? Does that sound like it's what I should look for?
There's so many variables. It really depends on what you need. If you want, lightweight and portable, means that you're not going to have as much RAM or as hard drive space. If you want one that's that has more RAM and hard drive space, then it's going to be a little heavier and beefier. There's so many. I like to give a general idea. I don't like to say go buy this computer. If you want to be able to do lots of stuff and to multitask, then you'll probably want at least 8, if not 16 gigs of RAM. Hard drive space is completely up to the user. It seems that 500 gigs is usually the minimum nowadays. I would recommend getting not a Celeron. I wouldn't typically recommend an Intel i something, whether it's i3, i5, or i7 processor.
Yeah, how much difference is there between i5 and i7?
It depends. It's not as clear cut anymore, because it used to be that the i7 was guaranteed to be, it was quad core processor, but now there are i7 that are only dual core. So the jump from i5 to i7, obviously there will be an increase in performance, but not necessarily as drastic as maybe you would think. So you have to really research, is the i7 that I'm looking at a dual core or is it a quad core? And that's how many processors it has. So obviously if you're getting an i7 processor and one's a dual core and one's a quad core, the quad core is doing twice as much computing as a dual core processor would. But yes, the i3, i5, and i7 are better than the Celeron processors. Unless you get an extremely low-end i3, then maybe a high-end Celeron would be better. But I think on average, the i processors by Intel are better than the Celeron. So
you buy an Intel computer then?
no, Intel makes the hardware for computers. They don't make computers. They make processors. Just like RAM, I mean, there's so many different companies that make RAM. And they probably won't advertise what kind of RAM's in there because there are so many different people that make them, and most people don't care. But graphics cards, your processor, and to a degree, motherboards are sometimes advertised, but not as often. But usually your graphics card and your processor are advertised because those are significant factors. The amount of RAM is significant, but who makes it can and cannot be significant. If you really, really care about RAM, then there are companies that make amazingly fast and durable and dependable RAM. And you can always upgrade to those guys if your RAM in your current computer is failing. But the one that they usually put in on their own is sufficient. Just like they'll tell you you'll get a 500 or a terabyte or a 2 terabyte hard drive, but they won't tell you who made the hard drive. Because typically they'll tell you if it's a solid state drive or a traditional hard drive, but they're not going to tell you who made the hard drive.
Didn't you say solid state is better?
Solid state is better, but also significantly more expensive. Yep, because there's no moving parts on solid state drives.
And if you get to, like you were saying about 8 gigs or 16 gigs?
8 is sufficient. 16 is high-end multitasking.
But that's faster, right?
Yep.
So if you go beyond that, or does it happen?
Yeah, 32. Our Becca's computer here at work that we brought from home has 32 gigs of RAM.
But can you put 32 gigs into something, what's 8 gigs? Or
yeah, the motherboard defines how much RAM your computer can handle. So some computers can only be upgraded to a maximum of 8 or 16. Yeah. So if it said expandable to 8, that means that it will never be able to. You could put 16 in there, but it'll only ever run off 8 of it. You can put 32 in there. You can put 64 in there, but it'll only ever run 8 of it. So putting more in there is pointless and a waste of lots of money.
And so the more you buy bigger RAM, obviously the price goes up.
Yes.
Quite probably dramatically too, I suspect.
Yeah, there's a certain point where, if you get 8's not that expensive, and the jump to 16 doesn't necessarily increase the price terribly much. But then if you jump to 32, it's pretty significant. Anything above that, because they go in doubles. A hard drive is 500, then it's a terabyte, then it's a terabyte and a half, then it's 2. Just like graphics cards. Graphics cards were 512 megabytes, and then they jumped to 1 terabyte, and now they've got 2 terabyte and 4 and 6. So they have this process of doubling. And that's because, there's lots of reasons behind that, but we don't really need to get that technical. So yes, computers, more is always better, but you also if you try to get the more of everything in every aspect of your computer, you're probably going to be looking at several thousands of dollars for a rig.
You know, a low-key person like me that sort of is retired, but I buy equipment. Where am I in the frame? I mean, I have this.
Right. Yeah.
And if I go to
A laptop.
a thing like he's got, or
Yep.
whatever I think he has, that will actually work really fast in my HP printers and not be an issue because they're made to do that.
Yep.
We're in the level of here to whatever $3,000 that way should I be sitting and looking at? Because I don't do a whole lot with it. Mostly stuff search and buy off the internet.
Right. So if you're doing search and buy, then I would say 4 to 8 gigs of RAM is sufficient.
Mhm.
The hard drive, like I said, you're going to get a minimum of 500 gigs, which is probably enough. Pictures, videos, video games, programs like Word and Excel will take up space, but you know, I think the Microsoft suite is somewhere around a gig or 2 of space. So 500 to a terabyte is pretty standard and will probably be fine unless you plan on storing an insane amount of photos on there or videos. You know, an i3 or an i5 processor would be enough. That's about, you know, graphics card probably won't matter. I mean, some kind of integrated graphics card would work fine.
That's built in the computer. I don't do anything with it. That's there, right?
No, but there, you know, I could have spent a little less money and got an integrated graphics card, but I spent a little more and I got one that wasn't integrated, which means it's attached to the motherboard. And so if it ever failed, that means if an integrated one would mean I'd have to replace the entire motherboard. If this one fails, then I can send it into Apple and they just replace the graphics card itself. That's an extreme, but you know, people upgrade their PCs to handle better video games or to better handle editing movies and editing their pictures, and those require higher end graphics cards. So if you buy one that's not integrated, then you can just pop out the old one. Laptops are a lot harder, and desktops are a lot easier in that. But you can pop out the old one and stick in the new one. So,
Okay.
but this is pretty detailed. I mean, a lot of people don't ever ask these detailed questions when buying a computer. Most people go to Best Buy or Walmart or some Staples or some box store and say, what's a good computer? And
Well, that's kind of where I am, what
Yep.
we're doing right here, and I'm
Yep.
working between the force and the trades because
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
I can use this. I can do whatever I want with it except print,
mm-hmm.
but I don't know this. I'm still lost in this thing, and I've had
Right.
it for 2 years.
Yep. Yep. Well, I mean, everything's going to be an adjustment no matter what. I mean, people are still adjusting to Windows 10 because it's different. People took a long time to adjust to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People are still adjusting to when Windows 8 came out. It took forever to adjust to that. I'm still getting adjusted to my MacBook. You know, it's different enough from a Windows that there's still things like there was a button on my my Windows laptop where I just pushed print screen and that would take a screenshot of my screen. I think I remember Command-Shift-4 or something like that is how you do it on a Mac, and I'm still getting used to that. And so everything, there's the learning curve for everything. Learning curve for iPads and new iPhones and going from a flip phone to a smartphone. And how do you maneuver?
Oh, yeah.
Why are there no physical buttons on this thing? Yeah. Yes, how do you answer it? Why does answering it look different when your phone's locked to when you're messing with your phone and it's not locked? Why does answering look different? I know but it is. So yeah, there will be a learning curve for everything, and it's annoying and it's frustrating, but it's
All
the
of us, no
nature.
matter what age.
That's right.
Well, the thing is, I just want to be able to use my iPad better than I am.
Mhm.
My grandgirls come up here and they laugh at me. It's like I'm,
You know, and there's videos. You can go to YouTube and there's tutorials on there. There's tutorials on Apple's own website. Like there is a tutorial, and I've looked through some of it for switching from a Windows to a Mac on Apple's website. If you did this on a PC, this is how you do it on your new Mac. And so I walked through some of those steps to be able to learn some differences and some the changes when switching. So it's a completely different operating system. So you can go and look at some of that stuff to try to help out with that. But yeah, everything's a learning curve, unfortunately. You know, and you say you want a tablet. Well, there's a Windows tablet, and there's an iPad, which is by Apple, and then you've got Android tablets. But then each Android, because it's open source, each manufacturer tweaks it differently. So if you get a Samsung, it's going to look different from an LG, which is going to look different from a Sony, which is going to look different from the Kindle, because that's a highly modified Android operating system. They have this little kids tablet called the MemoPad or something like that. That's made for kids, and it's got like really large app buttons for you to push, and that's Android, but it looks absolutely nothing like any of the others. And so you can't just say, oh, this is how you do it on an Android, because they are so different. And some Android phones and tablets have easy mode installed on them. And so there's less stuff for you to get lost in for people who want a smartphone, but they don't want all of the ins and outs of a smartphone. And so there's an easy mode, and there's a normal mode or advanced mode, which is the way it used to always be.
What type did Jessica? This is her first.
Yep.
This is her first smartphone.
Her first smartphone for her. Yeah.
Her.
Yeah. I mean, she's used them, but this is hers. It's I don't know who manufactured it, but it's an Android of some kind. Yep. So yeah, I mean, there is no oh, and there's BlackBerry.
those don't exist anymore.
They do. Yeah, BlackBerry resurrected themselves with a BlackBerry 10 operating system. Yep, BlackBerries came back. Not very well, but they're back. So, heck, when they introduced the final product of iOS 9 back in September when it was coming out, they had Microsoft guys who were on the Microsoft Office team for iPad on the stage of Apple talking about the new Office for Apple. So it's a weird world we live in. It's good to see them playing nice together, but so there's no standard.
New level of management.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd see Steve Jobs
On stage with
on the table.
Yeah.
I found something kind of by accident on 10. I was trying to make a page that I'd gone to at a site more accessible quickly. I wouldn't have to go to the site and find because it has several instances.
Mhm.
And it gave me, I right-clicked and it gave me the option of pinning it to my,
Yeah.
and boy, that was,
Yeah, you can.
solved everything.
Yeah, the Mac does that too now. Right. So you right click right there.
Tile
No.
window, and then it's right
Let me
there.
switch back again. Yes. So what pinning does means that,
But I didn't have to do that with various sites.
yeah, actually it's what web browser are you using? You're using Chrome.
Or are you using the Microsoft?
Edge.
Edge, I think you're using.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chrome has actually had this for a long time. Safari just came out with it with a new one. But yeah, if you right click, you click pin tab, and it shoots it all the way over here, and the tab turns tiny. But even if I were to close this whole thing out, and then I clicked on Safari again or Chrome, that pin tab right there would open again in the exact same spot that it was before. So you can pin things, if it's your computer and no one else uses it, you can pin, your Gmail and different things that you just always want accessible. And then you just open it up and you have those 3 or 4 or 5 or however many pins, and they're right there, right at your inbox for your Gmail, or right on your calendar for your calendar, or right on your Facebook page if you want to, have quick access to Facebook.
Well, you're talking right click, you're talking about a computer that's got a mouse.
Yes.
What do you do? That doesn't apply to
It does not apply to the iPad. No. No, there's no pinning on an iPad. But an iPad, when you have your Safari open, they've got tabs, and the tabs never close unless you manually close them.
Well, that's that thing in the bottom, right?
Oh,
No, it's across the top. You've got all these different tabs here.
Oh, really?
Yep. That little plus button up here in the corner. It doesn't look quite like that, but there's a plus button there. There's one here on the iPad, and you touch that plus button, it'll add a new tab while keeping the other ones open still. Same thing on your phone, except your phone doesn't do them sideways. It does them in completely separate windows. And you tap that little, looks like 2 boxes on top of each other on your phone, and that'll pull up the different excuse me, windows that you have open. So all right, so in the end, check out those ads if you're looking for something to shop for. Make sure you're getting a good deal. Computers are confusing, so are operating systems. Good luck. None of it, that it is. It's really hard, and things are changing constantly. There's a new iPad every year. There's a new iPhone every year. There's a new Samsung Galaxy every year.
a new iPad coming out next week or something.
Yes, the iPad Pro, 12-inch screen. Yeah, they just came out with the new Apple TV, which we talked a little bit about last week. Things are Intel, I think, on a maybe not a yearly basis, but Intel on a very regular basis are pulling out new processors all the time, and whether it's a year, every other year, or a year and a half. But as soon as you just like a car, as soon as you drive a car off the lot, you've dropped the price of the car by
100%.
Yeah. Same things with the computer. You bring a computer home. A week later, Intel releases their new chips. Your computer is suddenly outdated, and there's a newer one on the shelf. And sometimes that's why things are on sale, and they'll never tell you that. But oh look, this laptop is on a huge sale. Well, the salesperson's not telling you that next week that same computer will be up on the shelf with a brand new processor and a better hard drive and etc. Because that's actually last year's model that you're buying right now. So
So it'd be a good time to buy, if I decide to get an iPad, first iPad, it'd be a good time to buy an older one because the new ones are coming out, right?
the new ones already came out for the regulars. But yes, so you still would get, if you buy it new, but a previous generation, Apple knocks off $100 off each model. Yeah,
With the
and then you can,
iPads too as well as the phones.
yeah,
Okay.
yep, same pricing. And then if you're interested in used, you can always find used places as well. So, yep, yeah, you can always get a deal on last year's models. And Apple's very upfront about that because they're always.
That doesn't seem like much, though, $100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Doesn't make sense to buy last year's model for $100 less than the current model. To me, doesn't compute logic-wise.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, see, it was like, with